taken them into that environmental space. It's taken them into a very progressive, forward-thinking mode, and they've evolved the name so that it's not British Petroleum, it's Beyond Petroleum. So a lot of thinking, a lot of time went into that. So if you are faced with a rebrand, the first thing I would do is question it. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Don't just do it. And that applies to, I need to change my business card. Why do you need to change your business card? I've had a brochure for 12 months. I think I need to do a new one. Why do you need to do a new one? Do you just need to refresh photography? Do you need to lay it out differently? Have you discovered that your target market is 55 plus and therefore the font size needs to be 12-point minimum? Those sorts of things are what you can review, but your foundation element should be true. And I would also go back to what I said about strategy.
Yep.
If your strategy for the business or is driving a rebrand, whatever it is, then if that's right, then yes, you should do it, and you should just go out there and do it and be confident. And if you feel like you're taking a risk, all the better for it. Yep. The only other thing I would say with a rebrand is, what can you do to hold on to any equity you've got? Really make sure that you're doing that if you can.
Because it's a whole new spending process to re-educate your existing clients.
That's the thing. And, at a small business level, it may give you news. It may be a story, an excuse to go back and tell your existing clients to celebrate change. But if it's for the wrong reasons, then it can be really off-putting.
Yep.
But also for reasons of cost in a small business. Effectively, I run a small business, so I look for cost efficiencies in all sorts of ways. It's what you are looking for all the time. So you have to find ways of doing things just a little bit different to keep both you and your competitors on their toes a little bit. Yeah.
Fantastic. Natasha, we'll get to you later on that. Fantastic. You've done this before. Natasha, tell us about how do we choose graphics? So pictures, how do we choose a picture for a website, promo material? What's the strategy behind that?
In terms of supporting material, so once you've got your brand, there's a lot of photo libraries out there.
Yep.
Unfortunately, a lot of them are very American. And a lot of the photos, such as a lot of affordable ones, are a great place to start.
Yep.
You can get images for $2 or $3 American that you can slot into brochures. It's interesting, I see even the larger magazines using them and go, oh yeah, that's from iStock, which is one of the main libraries. Great place to start. One of the libraries that we use for a lot of our small business clients. I would say ensure that it mirrors what you're saying in the language and the content and the name and the brand.
Yep.
So make sure all of that's aligned. If you can look at getting photography done, ensure that you at least get your profiles done, and ensure you can get photography that you can perhaps use for multiple purposes. So perhaps it can be used...
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap. You can get a photographer for a day. You can send material to a studio if you want product photography done.
Yep.
You can, and there are quite effective ways to get things like smaller jobs done. A lot of people will. There's a great place in Richmond that has miscellaneous Wednesdays. You send all of your material there if you've got products you want photographed, and he'll just do it at a per shot. So,
fantastic.
and then it gets given to people like us who it's already cut out, all the colour values are perfect, and we just drop it into a brochure. So we love that sort of stuff. If you need those details, talk to me, because we love material that we can just drop in.
Yep.
But if you do get, as I said, use it for multiple purposes. So can you use it for your website? Can you use it for material? Can you use it for a cross-promotion? You were talking about aligning with people. Is it something that you can drop into an advert that goes into banner advertising, or a flyer that can go into an event? So that sort of thing, look at multiple purposes, and as I said, assess the material that you want to produce.
So in terms of who our target market is, say if we're targeting the older generation, more corporate, do we go for more corporate grey-haired men?
Well, this is it. If you're very sure about your market, great, but don't try to alienate others that might be interested in your service.
It's almost, you've got to stereotype to one degree but not go to the nth degree.
Yeah, and the other thing is you can also choose what we call abstract photography or concept photography. So if you do want to go along and get photos of people, great, but sometimes when people see other people, they go, that's not me, and they instantly discount you.
Yep.
But if they see something that's a business concept, or one that's overused but for good reason is a handshake, if you're doing a deal and for business, all you get is the shirt and the cuff and the handshake.
Yep.
And and everybody, and especially for direct marketing, a lot of people use it because they're closing a deal. That's what they want to get at the end of the process.
Okay.
So there's a lot of photography out there that is concept rather than people in particular situations.
Fantastic. Now we'll come back to the branding in a minute. Linda, your turn. Tell us about what is a trademark and why would we need to register one?
Well, basically, to register a trademark is the only way that you guys would be able to get exclusive use of your name, your colour, your packaging, your slogan, any of those types of things. A lot of people think that by registering their business name down at Consumer Affairs, that no one else can register that name. Not true. You might as well rip up that nice certificate and put it in the bin. A lot of people say to me, oh, but I've got my company name registered at ASIC and it's the same name as my business name. So that will protect me. It doesn't. What trademarking also does is it allows you to... well, what you've got to think about is that you could potentially, and when Ben asked Bridget, how do you go about working out what business name to have? Now, you don't just pick one out from the sky, because you could potentially...
Isn't that where they exist?
No. Part of the strategy that Bridget was talking about is legal. Have you done some searches of trademark databases to make sure that you're not inadvertently breaching someone else's registered trademark? Because the thing is, if you are, the ease of the trademark system is that it's very streamlined. So that person doesn't have to prove how long they've been using it for, how recognised they are and all of that sort of thing. If they've got a trademark registered, they can lob up and a judge will ask them where their certificate is and they'll say, this is it, it's registered trademark number, whatever it is, and I've registered it on whatever date. And you could be then prevented from using your business name. I mean, a good example of that, then there's a couple of good international examples, is Three Rivers Wine, very exclusive wine sold online, was hoping to export, had to change its name to go to America, and that would heavily dilute your brand. Yep. Because another winery was using that exact name. Jetstar couldn't register in America as well because there's a travel agency called Jetstar. So